What's up, everyone? We're back. This is Paul with Garage Dad Talk. It's been a busy few weeks. Last videos you saw, we were posting all the updates from the Carolina drag cruise, which was a blast. And there was a lot of challenges. It was a long week coming off some other stuff we had going on. It made it a bit difficult, but we did our best to go out there and make a showing and overall just have a good time. So this video just wanted to catch everybody up, to kind of show you what's going on in here, not only with the car but also what's going on in the future, and kind of give a review as to what it was like, you know, this being technically our second drag and drive event, but also some of the things we actually encountered with this car in particular. So last time you saw, first day we got there, and unfortunately the wiring harness essentially melted. So the car was overheating, didn't have any fans or anything like that. And so we drove my truck. In case you haven't had a chance to check it out, look up the Carolina Drag Cruise site on Facebook. They're always posting all sorts of updates and events, along with any other type of drag and drive events. They try and keep up with the coverage, post it on there, and for anybody interested, hit up Michael Lone. He'll actually give you a lot of information about not only ours but other events. Now, getting into the event. This past event, you know, started off on that Wednesday night. They did a initial tech-in and meet and greet there in Spartanburg. I didn't take the car. Was still working on it, unfortunately, that same night, and just took the truck to go check in, say what's up to everyone, and see who showed up. And there was some amazing cars that got there. If you haven't seen the video, I'll post the video somewhere up in here, so that way if you want to get a chance to catch up on that. Most of us didn't really know each other, and we went there to make friends. That's really what it was, because we're gonna be spending the next 4 days with one another. And it turns out that, you know, most of them were really nice. A lot of them I didn't get a chance to talk to up front, but come to find out, wonderful people, and all of them willing to help out each other, and it turned out to be something good. So Thursday night, most of us, you know, that's what makes this event a little bit different. I had to go to work, so we'd go to work, and in the afternoons get out of work, pick up the car, and then head to the events. Now, Thursday night started in Greer. Some people showed up early, and it was great because, excuse me, they actually opened up the track early, which is fantastic considering all of the events or all of the tracks that we participated during this drag cruise. There was either a test and tune going on or some sort of event racing in parallel with this. So we didn't have an open track to ourselves, and we had to get in there and in line with everybody else to try and get our passes in. Something a little different, trying to work with the tracks, and it was one of the first times trying to figure this out. So Thursday night, opened up the track at Greer early, which they did a great job of facilitating. And we got there a little bit later on the day, went through check-in to tech-in, got the car all situated and whatnot. Then let the car cool down. We're trying a couple of new things to kind of cool the car down, which seemed to work. And then we hit the track. There's some of the coverage that I was able to get, but being a one-man person trying to do some of the racing, some of the videoing and commentating along with meeting other people, it's a lot of work. So the video that night was primarily just a lot of the pit footage. It's all right, at least was able to get some exposure as to what we got going on out there, and plus some of the challenges that you're seeing out there. I know we showed one of the trucks that was out there, and he actually had a cracked frame, broken exhaust. We had another Mustang out there. He had just finished putting an LS swap in it and was struggling with some of the tune parts and so on and so forth. Those are the challenges that come with drag and drive events. And overall, first night wasn't bad. We made our passes. The track was okay. It was extremely hot, and that was probably one of the biggest challenges of the event, the temperature. You know, we're looking at mid-90s to 100-degree temperature. Everybody was sweating their off, you know, and anybody you talk to, that was the biggest thing. So most of them wanted to wait till it got a little bit later in the night. Now, being local and knowing how the track really is, it gets packed after the sun goes down. that's not something we want to be part of because you might not get a pass in. So a few of us went out there, went early, even though the track was a bit slippery since it was hot, made some decent passes to have something in the logs. And then we got packed up and we're getting ready to head out. So some of the other guys we have to include are Tim was out there definitely getting a lot of really good pictures, and I'll make sure and put his plug-in down here so that way you guys can go look at his page, see what sort of pictures he's got going on, and was able to get us some really good snapshots of what it was like at Greer. On top of that, we also had the guys from Sick the Mag out there coming up with some awesome shots and things like that. Now, they haven't really shared a lot of that information just yet because I think they're still working on the publication for the magazine. However, if you haven't seen yet, go to their Facebook page. The guys were super awesome and cool. And on our way to the meet spot to drop off the ticket, they actually took some cool rolling shots of the vet. So we're just cruising along and you see them hanging out the window, and they featured the picture of the car on the Facebook page. Super excited. Two things I always wanted to happen, right? One, to get featured on something like that, and number two, get a killer rolling shot. Now, not only did they do it, Tim also got a cool rolling shot of me going down the track, a few launch shots, and a few other things. I'll post them up here so that way we can cycle them and talk through them. But it was just really cool atmosphere to be part of. So that was night one. All right, so you saw that this last race, we were not only trying to figure out the track with the heat, but we also had some issues with, some of the tuning that's going on with the car. We've been working on it for a few months and still haven't figured it out, but I think we're gonna get very close and figure that out pretty soon. The reason why I say that is I think we found the combination that's gonna work for the car, but once we get that settled, we have to start figuring out what's next with the suspension. Now, I'm not sure you've seen, but I'll go ahead and add a video right here showing some of the struggles that we had with our suspension. And I think what's happening is, one, I have the settings incorrect, or two, I actually blew the valving out the back and the car is actually bouncing down the track. Here's a quick look at it. Lowrider. So as you can see, it actually looks worse than it feels, and that's something I can't figure out. So more testing is needed, and we have a little bit of time before the next event. Night two was at Ware Shoals. Now, Ware Shoals is probably about an hour drive from my house, so not too bad in overall retrospect of what this event is. So there was a meet and greet before that. I had to work again, so I wasn't able to meet at that place and participate. However, I got to the track, we got a good spot, saw everybody get prepped, and the location that we were was perfect for us to at least see the cars as they were coming by, get some good footage, talk with people, and kind of get some feedback as to what the track was looking like. Some of the heavy hitters that were out there were just struggling with the track once again. Part of it being the heat, second part just I'm not sure if it was the setup for the track, but we got a lot of footage that kind of showed some of that and those struggles. The next thing was I don't think that they were as prepared for such a large event, plus trying to incorporate that with some test and tune. The traffic jam going into the staging lanes was just a bit miserable, waiting to try and get through there. If there is any type of feedback, it's going to be to try and find a way to facilitate that a little bit better, or coordinate what those staging lines need to look like. But overall, getting the cars going through, once they started opening up the staging lanes for us, wasn't bad. The wait time was maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes in between each of the lanes, unless there was something major that happened. But we were able to get some good passes in there. Now we also had not only Tim and Sick the Mag doing some pictures out there, we had our buddy Jeff, and I'll put his plug-in in here as well. He was able to take some phenomenal pictures of everyone doing some passes out there. Definitely check them out. Between the three of them, they all got some great footage and pictures that they were able to share with us. I know Sick the Mag actually added a video of the night passes. You can see a lot of the guys really getting down, and they're talking about who the leaders are, what the status is of the track, and things like that. And I think they even got a shot of one of our best launches with the vet. This is why I'm struggling right now. We've been going back and forth about adjusting the suspension, and I think something's wrong with it. However, if you look at the videos, the car actually will leave on any surface. I could probably pull a decent 60 foot on the street with these Hoosiers that I'm running. This track we pulled a 160 60 foot, which was phenomenal. And my goal was to try and figure out the whole reaction time thing, but more so I need to get this car figured out. That's my ultimate goal. We've been struggling with it for so long now that it's taking a lot from us and from my fun of racing. So we're gonna get it there. It's just taking time, and I don't know. I'm not sure if it's within the tune or if it's within the suspension once again, but I was able to pull off that 160 60 foot and a consistent 7.6 8 mile pass. Now for the past those 2 nights, 7.6s kind of seemed to be where I was. The car's maybe 80% of the way, and I still feel like it has a lot more left in it. So the goal is to get down to a low 7 second to high 6 pass, and that way we're ready for the next coming events, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, that's day 2. We leave the track, we're out cruising, heading towards the checkpoints. Now, Carolina Drag Cruise, you get your ticket, they stamp it, and they let the checkpoint know you're on the way. So we decided to go down some of the back roads due to some construction. And lo and behold, we run into some other drag cruisers on their way to the checkpoint. Now, there's a picture I have, and I'll add it up here. During the cruise, you kind of see one of our cars and a trailer coming up quickly, and unfortunately he was having a lot of trouble, so we had to do the whole cruise at like 30 miles an hour. So it really kind of slowed us down, getting late into the night, and by the time we got there it was close to 11 or so. And we finally got there, we checked in, and it being late, we're hungry, we're tired. The idea was to meet at that pizza spot that we went to, and they were so sweet. They actually, 11:08, we walk in there and they let us know that they're closed. Well, they couldn't. But since we were part of the event, they stayed open and actually hung in there and fed all of us that showed up there. So big shout out to them. I'm gonna put their location, their website down here. Check them out if you ever want some good food in Simpsonville. After that, head home. Didn't get home till 1 in the morning, which realistically wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, you know, when you have to do stuff on the cars and things like that, it makes for just a long day. Day 3. This is where we're heading down to Union now. The idea was to meet up at the checkpoint that we were at on Wednesday, which was a Applebee's in Spartanburg. And we're supposed to meet at that same spot and then all take off and cruise out to Union, which is about, an hour from there? Yeah, something like that. But anyways, we all were hanging out in a parking lot. Next thing you know, we hear the cars fire up and everyone's ready to go, and we were just sitting around trying to catch up with everyone. So we jump in our cars. Unfortunately, the light, the parking lot, the whole area was just not a good place for all of us to kind of cruise out from. So you get 5 cars at a light, take off. We're stuck at a red light with a large group of cars. Just some things as feedback for next year or the next event. If we do something like that, we're not all going to be able to go at the same time. It would be cool if we could. I know that the guys from Sick the Mag wanted us to get together, do some like rolling shots or group shots, something like that. And fortunately, we weren't able to do that. So I have some footage of us cruising along the way. We caught up to some other folks that were in the event, and some caught up to us. And it just turned out to be a really nice drive. We hit some rain on the way. We're on the interstate part of the way. We did some back roads. It was overall kind of cool, right? It was almost like cruising with a lot of your good buddies. and there were some challenges with some other cars. We were feeling okay. We made it there, able to change the tires, get the car cooled down with some of the stuff we've been doing, and made some passes. Once again, the photographers, same ones were there, Jeff, and the guys from Sick the Mag, Luke and Philip. Big props to you guys, because Union, you guys had some amazing coverage. And from the time that we got there till the time we left, you could see everybody hustling around and doing a lot out there to ensure that we get everybody the good coverage from these events. So lots of good stuff happening out there. Union, we pulled another a good pass, which was a 7.6 and a 1.65 60 foot. So the car's working. It's dependable. We haven't had any issues. Everything's great. We change up everything. We didn't have a drop off. That one, they actually did something a little bit different. They kept the drop off there so we can stay afterwards and all kind of hang around and mingle and whatnot. We weren't all clustered up in one big group. We were spread out across the whole pit area, but they had a barbecue for us, pulled pork. They had some cookies, they had some hot dogs, they had all sorts of toppings and sides. If you were part of the event, this was free for you and as much as you would want. So you get to sit around and watch some of the cars racing. And like I said, most tracks, in particular this one, had an event going on that night. And we even had some of the guys from the drag crews racing the event as well. Super cool that they were able to go out there and enjoy just racing like you would at any other event. So that was a cool twist that night. That was the night I think I turned in the 006 reaction time, which, by the way, I have to come back and say this. First night at Greer, I didn't turn in my best pass because I had to turn in my reaction time, which is a 001 reaction. Yes, in a stick car. Of course, I'm going to keep that out there because I backed that up and Union on the third night by turning it 006 reaction time. So my goal was to go for that on the stick car. If I could win that, that's really good bragging rights. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Wah wah.
And it was kind of fun though, because everyone really made sure to bring that up several times. But overall, I can't compete with some of the guys, man. These guys were on it. But it was fun just at least talking a little bit of smack and getting to know some of the guys, you know, in terms of that. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see. So after Union, went home, another late night. For Sunday, which was Shady Side. Now this is the place everybody was looking to kind of turn up their cars and try and get their best passes and whatnot. So we get there. Yes, I trailered my car. I know a lot of people were giving me slack about it. That's okay. As part of the event, you can actually trailer your car to the event. Once again, this isn't a full drag week. It's not like Rocky Mountain or any of those other events. This one in particular, you can trailer your car out there, make your passes, and once you're ready to turn in your slip, you cannot use the trailer, cannot use your help of supporting vehicles. You have to make the cruise on your own with the tools you have and everything like you would in a normal drag and drive event. So we get there. I had the car already set up. My goal was to take it off the trailer, make 2 to 3 passes, call it a day, load up the trailer, and have fun. First pass, we drive out to the staging lanes, and I hear this horrible grinding noise. So Sunday's video, the final one, you'll see that the car actually broke. 2 things broke on the car, and these are things that I haven't really had any issues with recently or over the past few years that the car has been put together. So the first one, the grinding noise coming from the back, was the ball joint came loose, the lower one. So the tire, rather than sitting like this, was doing this. And every time it would move in, the lower A-arm would rub up against the inner part of the rim. So we had to take it apart, and I'll cue a little video of here of what it looked like and how much play it had.
Go.
So let's have a look. Found out what it was, tightened it, it was okay. Well, didn't realize that that was loose the whole event and slowly got worse and worse and worse. Luckily for me, my rear axle saved me. As the nut started coming off, it would bottom out on the axle so it would not come off, so it just stayed there. Thankfully, if not, I can't even imagine if that whole thing came apart. So got it tightened up, went out to go make a pass. First pass, you'll see here, there's a still picture. I think that it was either Jeff or Tim caught. I have to look up to see which one it was. I red lit by 0.001, almost perfect reaction. And what I'm thinking is my reaction time was thrown off because something was loose in the back. Up to this point, I've been getting very close with my reaction times. This one, the car was actually reacting much better. So pulled like it was like a 170 60 foot or something like that. Not the best, not the worst, but couldn't turn in my slip because it was a red light. Okay, we decided to hot lap it. Let's get around there. Let's get a ticket or a time slip that I can turn in. I do that and my car just bogs. Not sure what's going on with it. And was talking with one of my buddies that's working on the tune with me, and he said, all right, try launch it a little harder and let's do a no lift shift to see if we can compensate for the way your car's pulling timing. Sure, if there's any place I want to do it, it's going to be when I have the trailer and at Shadyside, because the prep was on point. So next pass, we give it a little more RPM off the launch. Was getting ready for that no lift shift. I hit it, and it must have been me thinking too much about the launch and making too many sandwiches there at the line. Horrible reaction time. Okay, but did the no lift shift, it blew the coupler out of my exhaust, so now I had a loose exhaust and had to fix that as well. At that point, I just was not having a good day and decided we're gonna park the car, we're gonna load up on the trailer and enjoy the rest of the event. So we did. The last thing we did was just drive the car down to where the ceremony was and whatnot, and decided to take my daughter for a ride in it. She's always asking to drive around with it and whatnot. But overall, it could have ended a little bit better. Could have ended much worse, that's for sure, considering the circumstance. And as of right now, can't wait for another drag and drive event. It was killer. For those of you that have not done a drag and drive event before, here's a tip. Hydrate. Make sure you have tools that are organized so you can find them quickly, because if not, you will get frustrated. Get yourself either a good hat that covers you or one of the bigger large hats for some shade, because in most cases, unless you have a tent or some pop-up, there's no shade at tracks. Keep that in mind. Next thing is, make sure you have enough fuel in the cars. We talked to a few of the other racers that didn't realize the cars wasted as much gas as they did. This is their first drag and drive event, so that's something else. If you know your routes, in this case, we knew our routes ahead of time, try and plan for that. Avoid construction. They will get you, especially with us. We were driving on our drag packs. And it's a bit scary doing that or hitting some construction during that. And lastly, be prepared to help. A lot of guys out there, they struggled, you know, and it's a very difficult event and thing to try and compete in. You know, it's not your typical type of racing. You race a couple times, put on a trailer, you're done. No. Once you're done racing, you have to drive somewhere. Your car has to be dependable, it has to be comfortable, it has to be reliable. You don't want to get stuck on some of these back roads or in places that you have no idea where you're at, okay? So just something to keep in mind. In terms of food, I would recommend, rather than eating large meals while you're there, find ways to snack, because everything happens so fast that the days go by extremely quick. So before you know it, you're already getting ready to leave. It's 9, 10 o'clock at night, everything's closed. You don't have anything to eat. And I packed some snacks inside my car and threw them in the toolbox. And that's really what kind of saved me in terms of it. Lots of water. If you can, have an extra fan in your car. I'm kind of the dummy on my end. I didn't hook up my AC for this. That's boo on me, right? So I took away some of the luxuries that would have been great during this drag and drive, but windows down, cruising, we're good. Next, and the last thing is the ceremony. If you guys get a chance, it's hard for me to really explain what sort of experience it is. get a chance to watch the video. This is the video that I made for the last day, and what I wanted to capture was the experience of what these ceremonies are like. I haven't competed in other events, but this one in particular was a lot of fun. We all got together at the very end, and you can hear a lot of the joking around going on with us. We had some special awards, and Mike is just, he's a big goofball. He enjoys coming up with this sort of stuff. And with that, I'm just gonna wrap it up. This was just as a experience overview of what the event was, status of the car, some other things to expect, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy some of the footage that we got coming up, because not only do we have the Corvette in here, we also got some stuff coming up on the Chevelle. I know you haven't seen a lot of the stuff we've been working on there yet. However, I do have some parts so we can finally start getting on this. Next, I'm not sure you saw a post recently, but back here somewhere, I don't know if you can see it, I have an engine tucked back here that came from one of our good friends. This is the second engine he brought me. And the goal for this one is we're gonna give it kind of a full pass going through it. We lost some oil pressure, and we wanna make sure that there isn't anything else major with it before we do a startup. So stay tuned. There'll be some fun stuff with this one, the one back there. And if things go well this year, you might actually see this one as well. Lots of fun stuff coming up. All right, with that, we're gonna end the video there. Have a good one. I'm off to bed because it's been a long day, and I think it's time for a little bit of rest. So have a good one.